Okay. Are we live? Can anybody confirm that they can hear and see Dr. Bobby and I? I mean, I feel live.
Okay. At least we know you're live.
There's nobody in the chat, Bobby. I'm just kidding. There appear to be a couple of people. Hey, everybody. Is this thing working? I'm not hearing.
Can we look at it from our phones?
You can try. Oh, okay. They hear us. There's just a delay, it looks like. Whoa. All right. What's up, everybody? Oh, yeah. Wow. Interesting.
Sweet.
Okay. First time for everything. Okay. Hello. My name is Josh. Welcome to my garage. This is Dr. Bobby. That's Goldie, my C6 Z06, which Bobby was instrumental in helping me get back on the road. And before we get going, I want to address that in the last Goldie video at the end, I left you on a cliffhanger because at that time, and this was probably weeks ago at this point, we were all on a cliffhanger. And knowing what I know now, I do not want to leave you thinking that the motor is hurt. So I'm not going to give away what happened, but we think Goldie is in pretty good shape mechanically right now, which is a huge relief. And I think that the video in which that all gets resolved, which will be coming up fairly shortly, is a pretty good one. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Goldie is the biggest personal automotive project I've ever taken on, except for one, although it's a different kind of project, and that's what we're going to be sharing with you guys. And yeah, Jack in the comments spoiled it already. We bought a Buick Enclave.
If it goes, it goes.
We're going to twin turbo the Enclave. We're shooting for 700 wheel, all-wheel drive. Should be sick. No, we've got something really special going on, and it is, you know, I told Bobby I've had a pretty long career in video game development, and in that time I've led some pretty big teams with some decent budgets, and this somehow feels way bigger because physically it's way bigger and more challenging because I'm entering territory where I really don't know what I'm doing. But thankfully, I've got the help of people like Bobby, who is a team member, not just a friend, and also Jack, who's moderating in the comments, Mark, my business partner, several investors who we couldn't be doing this without, and we're really excited to show you what we've been working on. We put something together for you because this is an automotive venture that has a physical location, but there's also a big YouTube component, which is one of my favorite things to work on. And so I'm about to show you something that my boy Jack cooked up with help from the rest of us. So I am going to share my screen, and you guys are going to see Wolfpen. 1 second. Whoops. I don't think I shared my audio. Let me try that again. I want to make sure I get the audio. Yeah, okay. Also share the audio tab. Okay. Here we go.
Hey, my name is Josh. My friends and I are opening a shop. Welcome to Wolfpen.
It's choking on the 4K, guys. I apologize. We'll go down.
Wherever old man strength comes from, I haven't gotten there. This thing is so ridiculous in the best possible way.
Oh no, Gabe texted that we got no picture. No! Okay. That didn't work. That's a bummer. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put a link in the chat, and you guys can watch at your leisure. And let's see. Yoink. Yes, good soundtrack. All right.
Did you read that?
Casey, no, Goldie is not rebroken, but our ability to stream video apparently is. I got gigabit internet, but oh, that's a funny idea, Gabe. Gabe says, put it on my TV and we'll watch it from there.
Oh.
We'll try it. Bobby, entertain them while I set up the TV.
All right, I'll do my best. Chucky said, "Quick, take your shirt off."
I was.
Text me that.
Now, I don't want to say that Chucky is obsessed with male nudity. I'm not saying that. But after talking with him today on the phone before the stream, I did kind of get a vibe that maybe we should go topless.
Okay.
So if I can't get this running in the next like 30 seconds, then that's the route we're going to go.
Fair enough. We should go show Goldie's thong while we're at it, right?
All right, let's see. Let's see if we can do this. Yeah.
Somebody said you didn't give Bobby a mic.
Bobby's mic'd up. Are you guys not hearing Bobby?
Well, blue lights on, both of them.
Okay. This is not going to be absolutely ideal, but it's going to be pretty good. Yeah, shift that for him. All right, and then Bobby, I'm going to need you to come hold the hold the camera because it's.
I'm not the best camera guy, but I think
Just hold it as steady as possible. Here we go. Let's rewind it.
Hey, my name is Josh.
There we go.
Hey, my name is Josh. My friends and I are opening a shop. Welcome to Wolfpen. Wherever old man strength comes from, I haven't gotten This thing is so ridiculous in the best possible way.
All right. Mark says we got to get closer. Whoop. Bring her closer, Bobby.
That's the whole thing?
Yeah.
Fill the frame.
You need to drink more water, bro. Ladies, he's spoken for. Just kidding, there's no ladies watching this. I'm 6'1". Like, we'll see you next time.
That looks like bad news for our Hummer trip. Oh, okay. I guess we're fine. People wander in and out.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm cutting it off there. We're leaving. That's it. That's all you get. There is an Easter egg if you watch it all the way through. I put the link in the comments. Excuse us while we navigate my kids' bicycles to get this back where we had it. And I know that Jack's audio video heart is hurting right now because that was rendered in beautiful 10-bit 4K at an incredibly high bit rate. Sorry, Jack. But you guys get the idea, hopefully. Let's do a little bit of that. Oh, it's all cockamamie. There we go.
Learning as we go.
All right. So that is the trailer. Yeah, Eric knows what's up. So what we hint at the end is that there is a second shop to this shop opening scheme of ours. We've got our automotive repair, maintenance, upgrade shop, and then we've got a full-blown coffee shop. Some of you know my wife, Nicole, was a trained professional pastry chef for a lot of years, worked a lot of banquet halls, always had a dream of kind of doing something of her own. And this is going to be her opportunity to bring her amazing cinnamon rolls, amongst other things, to the public. And, you know, that kind of explains a little bit why this has been a pretty challenging endeavor for us so far. In a lot of ways, we're really trying to do 3 different businesses simultaneously under the same roof. So we've got the automotive stuff, obviously, which is the foundation of it, the bedrock. And then we've got the YouTube side of it because Jack and I love making videos about cars. And we figured that the best way to kind of have a never-ending source of stories about cars would be to open up a place that works on them and has a lot of cool stuff coming through. What's crazy is that even though we are not open, we've been messing around with our own cars and with a couple of friends' cars, making some videos in order to be able to kick off the channel. And we've been having some crazy stuff happen so far. We've been having some really interesting stuff, some of which is hinted in that trailer. So once again, if you go to the link that I posted in the chat, we'll also put a link in the description and blah, blah, blah. Go check out the trailer and kind of pay attention to some of the stuff you see, because even though we've only been at this for a very short period of time, there's a lot of exciting stuff happening. And then the coffee shop is meant to be a place where you guys can come hang out. Not only if you're a customer of the garage for some reason, you know, you're bringing your car in and you're waiting to get tires mounted or a turbo upgrade installed, Chuck, but if you're just into cars or you just want a great coffee shop to hang out in Roswell, the idea is you can come and just see cool cars in and out while you sip your amazing latte. And I was actually learning to make lattes when Nicole's Durango SRT was stolen from a parking garage not too long ago. That's a whole different story, and we'll tell that at a later date. But I think at this point, we're going to let Bobby kind of take over as chat master. We've got some Goldie stuff that we need to do because we're going someplace exciting tomorrow. We're not going to say anything more about Goldie, but you can probably guess where we're headed. And if you guys have questions or stuff that you want to see us talk about, you know, put them in the chat and Bobby will keep an eye on it. Otherwise, we're just going to work in silence because that's what Bobby and I do best. Oh, by the way, it's 90+ degrees in Georgia today with 90-something% humidity, but we love it.
Love's a strong word.
We tolerate it because we love cars.
We're getting guesses of where we're going already.
Are any of them correct? Okay. Tell you what, I had Goldie up on a 2-post lift today, which I'm starting to get, I wouldn't say good at using, but like I know how to put a car in a lift now and bring it up and down. Compared to jack stands and a floor jack, the quick jacks are amazing. But once you've got a 2-post lift, and ours are like low profile rotary lifts, it's the new like SP10. Is that the, so super low profile, it'll lift 10,000 pounds like nothing. And you see an electric Hummer, which weighs around 9,000 pounds on one. Didn't break a sweat, it was fine. Let's just say I'd rather be using that right now. But the quick jacks are great.
Okay. Better than a floor jack that we don't even have here, right? Oh, yeah, we have here.
Well, we've got one that's leaking fluid.
You and Josh might need to switch mics.
Uh-oh. Explain what the mic issue is.
Yeah, what's the issue on the mic, Gabe? Can you just not hear me good or not hear Josh good? What's up? You dropped one today. Was it one of these?
Yeah, but they're reading fine on here.
Okay.
They're getting equal levels, so I don't know. I wonder if there are any.
Hear you, Dr. Bob.
Can't hear Bobby.
I'm a loudmouth. How do you not hear me?
All right, so what we're gonna do is swap out the microphone. And the lav mic seemed like such a good idea, but if they're not working, they're not working. You can just leave that, Bobby.
Okay.
Go entertain them.
I can still do what Chucky asked.
All right, try now, Bobby.
Check, check. Check, check.
You guys hearing him okay now?
We see him. There we go.
Yes, you're all hilarious, but can you hear? Yeah, okay, cool.
Good now. Okay, fair enough. Jack missed his calling as a comedian, I guess, huh?
He's doing what they call crowd work.
Ah, I got you. What state are you guys in?
We are north of Atlanta, Georgia, in the Atlanta metro area. Now, I'll treat you guys to what Bobby has seen me do many, many times, which is help him get his lav mic off.
Okay. He takes good care of me. What can I say?
Okay.
Have you ever heard of Lee Osment? Josh?
Lee Henry Oswald?
Sure.
Haley Joe Osment? That name sounds familiar.
Chuck said Lee owes me $5. So, Bobby, are you moving down here? Well, I've already moved. What? How long have you been down here permanently?
Pretty recent that
Yeah.
you actually moved from. I say Bobby's from Cleveland, Tennessee,
Yeah.
and except for a stint in the Air Force, he's always lived in Cleveland. So that's about 2 hours away.
Yeah.
Is that right? So it's not like a massive relocation, but still, it's a big deal to uproot your family and bring them here. Jack has been a public school teacher. Jack and I are almost identically aged. We were born one day apart, and Jack has been a public school teacher his whole career. He left that career to join us at Wolfpen. And Mark has been a serial entrepreneur for I don't know how long. And he left that to pursue a very sketchy business venture with a bunch of scraggly dudes. So the rest of us, I feel like, are moving up. Mark, not so sure.
It's okay. He makes it fun, right?
And that's one thing that is really exciting for me is the team. Bobby has owned a shop in his town for 4 years at this point.
Yeah, 4.5. Yeah.
Outside of that, we're all automotive enthusiasts, but none of us have professional auto experience. But I think that, the reason behind doing this, a lot of it comes down to bad experiences that we've had going to shops and feeling like as an enthusiast, it's hard to get a shop that makes you feel like they're not sort of positioning themselves in this position of power over you. It's always a little bit like going to the dentist where it's just like, it's almost never pleasant, but there's this added feeling that makes it even worse. And this happens with the dentist too, when they're trying to sell you and sell you and sell you stuff. And you can tell that for them, you're just a mark, and obviously it's a business and we want to make money and we want it to be profitable, but we think that, that can be done with integrity. And we know that there are a lot of enthusiasts out there who have taken their cars places. And in a lot of cases, like the car is your pride and joy, right? It's your most valued possession. And you take it to a shop and either they treat it like a Corolla, nothing wrong with the Corolla if that's what you drive, but they just like treat it like any old car, or they don't treat it well at all. Like I had a lot of bad experiences with a lot of cars. I mean, stuff as simple as going to the tire place and they forget to put the valve stem caps on. And then you call them and they say, oh yeah, come on in. And it's like, well, it's a 40-minute drive for me. And then it's a 40-minute drive back home. And when you get there, they're acting like you're bothering them, right? Or you go, let's say that you had a 997 turbo and you're going to sell it. And so you decide to get an oil change done at the dealer because that's what's recommended. And you take it to the dealer to get the oil change and the bill comes back at $1,000 and you're like looking through, which is crazy, right? And they did some inspection stuff too, but you see stuff on the list like oil conditioner. And you're like, I've changed the oil in that thing several times. I don't remember it needing oil conditioner. So there's all this snake oil out there and people are, just like coming up with ways to get their hands in your pockets. And on top of that, they don't make you feel like, hey, we're fellow enthusiasts. Every once in a while, you deal with a business though, where the person, whether it's a huge corporation or a little mom and pop, where the person that you interact with makes you feel like they give a crap about you, like they see you as a human being. We saw that with replacing the Durango recently. It's becoming rare to have an experience where people just make you feel like you're actually welcome, you know? And so, I recently learned that my nickname is Long Story Josh. So if you have questions or stuff that you want to hear from Bobby on, please feel free to say nice story, Josh, and then Bobby will jump in. But when I started my automotive YouTube channel, it wasn't really with any particular goal in mind other than like a vague idea of like, hey, like being an automotive YouTuber seems like fun when you're doing incredibly well at it, right? Which is I'll just be the next Whistling Diesel, But what I discovered was even if you've got a tiny channel and your videos aren't very good, which was definitely the case and arguably still is the case with mine, you meet people, right? That's how I met Bobby. Within an hour of meeting Bobby, he was projectile vomiting in my Ariel Atom on the racetrack. It's how I met Mark. I was making a video at a track day, and I was interviewing members of this car club, and Mark was one of them. And everybody who was there was a car person. But he mentioned a book called, I think, The Boss. It's about the original Mayor Daley of Chicago and like his rise to power in the 50s, I think, in Chicago. And having lived in Chicago for a while, I found that. Are we getting into long story mode yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Point is, everybody who's involved in this thing, except for my wife, Nicole, is involved in this thing because I met them through the car community around here. And that happened because I started a YouTube channel. So YouTube has completely changed my life in a way that I wasn't expecting. I thought, like, I'll get better at driving cars. Instead, I meet people like this guy who volunteered a ton of his time to help me when I blew up my Corvette.
Yeah. Let's see. Vomit makes the world go round. Nice.
So I never really, and one way that I knew that Bobby was a quality person is when I reviewed the footage, which was frankly disgusting because he had a chin strap and it bifurcated as it hit the chin strap. Neither of us really knew this at the time. Luckily that Adam didn't have carpets, but I like discovered the aftermath on the floorboards later when I took the seat out.
I don't think you ever told me this.
But what I'm getting at is that when I mentioned it to Bobby, I was like, dude, I don't want to make you look bad. Like, we don't have to put the vomit thing in at all. It could be like it never happened if you're embarrassed about it. He's like, heck no. And he told his wife Chelsea about it. She's like, yeah, put it in. Hilarious.
Gotta own it.
And I think like that's kind of our philosophy is, yeah, own stuff. Like, stuff goes wrong all the time. Whether it's working on the car, starting the business, especially if you've never done it before, you do stuff out of order, you make mistakes, you don't have the technique, you trust the wrong person, whatever. But in the end, it's completely worth it. And we're on this adventure right now that is so much fun.
Is the Goldie content at an end?
Oh, good question. No. So we've already filmed, and part of the beauty of this is that Jack is helping me now with Goldie content. So the last Goldie video, Jack did the full edit on that. And moving forward, he's probably going to help somewhat with the edits, but I'll still do them. We have what could be a conclusion to the Goldie saga coming up, but I don't see it ever being over. But definitely my personal channel is going to start taking a back seat to the Wolfpen channel. And I think that's good news because, it's not just about like the cars are really cool. It's really being able to see experts at work. We've got Gabe, you saw him in the video. He worked at Porsche near Atlanta for a while. And before that, he was in Minnesota. Is that right, Gabe? Wisconsin. Yeah. And I think I mentioned in a video, like seeing a trained tech work compared to just like the average garage guy helps me learn a lot more. And so I'm just really excited about the content that's going to come out of the Wolfpen channel. And I don't think it's going to be like radically different from my personal channel content, but the stories are going to be a little bigger and more exciting, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let's see here what we got. So somebody's asking about conclusion of the GT3 versus Goldie, then and your final thoughts.
So, the GT3 killer label was really done as I wanted something catchy, but I never really I love GT3s. Like when you drive one, they're completely different. Like regardless of the lap time you're putting in, they're just a really refined, dialed in experience. And Goldie, especially now, is way more raw, but there's the budget factor. But when you talk about going out and killing a GT3, like even on street tires, I could go out to Amp tomorrow and depending on who's driving, I could kill a bunch of GT3s. Like, because I've had the opportunity to put in as many laps as I have, especially at Amp, the driver factor is oftentimes the biggest factor when you're talking about cars that have really high performance limits. So we're trying to figure out a way to pit Goldie against a GT3 that feels fair. And what's on my mind right now is that Mark Granigan has similar lap times to me in the same cars. He's got a Club Sport Cayman that he let me drive at Road Atlanta, and we were within about a second of each other. So if we can figure out a way to put Mark in a GT3 that isn't his, right? Because I don't have any experience with Goldie at Road Atlanta yet. There's something coming up pretty soon. I think we could have a little lap time battle and maybe, see who comes out on top.
Some guy named Jason Heron.
Okay.
He said he's your Huckleberry.
Oh, so I know that Jason Heron has a GT3, a 992.
Very nice car.
Which that makes me nervous. It's on Cup 2s, I believe.
The color of that car is beautiful.
Yeah, it's what is it called? Is it Python green? What's the
know.
color of that?
What's
Anyway, if he let Mark drive that, I would be very nervous about my chances of beating his lap time. But I think that would be a good contest.
All right, got a guy says, I will do any 3D scanning y'all need. Is Matt right? I don't know who that is. Serious question. Zach Wood is asking if you know a guy from True Media.
True Media.
Yeah, a guy's named Sean. And Jason Heron said, yeah, it's Python Green.
True Media. That is not ringing a bell right now, but it's possible.
Guy's asking, would you ever go to Austin and run at Coda?
So here's
You got to talk and work. Come on.
Well, I want to make sure they hear me. Plus, I'm sweating like a pig.
It's miserable, man.
So any break I can take is good. Coda is a recent track, and I've been racing in video games since like 1994 with the original Need for Speed on PC. I had a flight sim yoke. I didn't even have like a racing wheel. And my point is that by the time Coda came around, it was so big and long and F1-y and stuff that I didn't even really want to learn it. And I think I would be really intimidated by it in real life. It's crazy.
High-speed track, I take it?
Yeah, like lots of long straightaways. I don't know what the total length is, but it's wild. My favorite track, even back before I knew that I would ever move to the Atlanta area or knew that I would ever be able to drive a car on track, Road Atlanta. Maple Valley in the original Forza, and I think they had a few iterations of Forza. I really like that. But real world tracks, Road Atlanta, I just always loved it. And since I've been able to drive it a lot in real life now,
Have you
that
ever
hasn't
run at
changed.
Barber? Somebody's asking about
Barber's amazing. Yeah, I got to race a Miata at Barber, but it was in the rain mostly. I had my first off-track incident at Barber, which I claim wasn't my fault.
Oh, Mark's talking trash on here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I would wax you if I drove Jason's Grinch.
Let's see.
Oh,
You know,
man.
let's see. I'm curious.
Talking
Because,
big.
again, it's like, that's not his car.
Daddy
right?
Mark's talking big.
Yeah. So I like to think that because it's not his car, he's going to hold back a little bit, whereas I've got nothing to lose.
Jason's game.
All right. That sounds like fun.
That would be a blast.
And that's coming up pretty soon. So, we're way ahead time-wise of where the last video was. But now that we've got like a posse, and Jack's on the case, I think we could get him out. In fact, we're bringing the whole crew out. And that's one thing, going back to the business side of things, our belief is, it's fine and dandy to say like, hey, we want customers to have a great experience, but we think that they have a great experience by interacting with a great team, and just having the best team is where it's at. Life for a tech can be really rough from what I understand. They're ridden hard and put away wet, as Bobby likes to say. And it's all about just cranking as many hours as they possibly can. We want to be the place in Atlanta that every tech wants to work, like the best techs, and part of how we do that is we say, hey, like, would you like to drive a Cayman Club Sport at Road Atlanta this weekend? That kind of thing.
Who says no to that?
Right. Or, hey, we're filming, Chuck's Fiesta upgrade. Do you want to come to the track and help out with that a little bit? So there's, obviously it's not all fun and games, and there's a ton of hard work involved, but we think that the people who are actually turning the wrenches are critical, to the business. And we think like we can just make them happy, pay them well, give them good benefits, and recognize that these guys and girls are auto enthusiasts too, and play into that. Because at the end of the day, all of us, all we want to be doing is messing around with cars, whether it's driving them or working on them or sitting around BSing, looking at them, drinking a delicious latte.
Or eating a waffle, Nicole. Let's see here. So, Adam, I'm a father of 2. How do you manage work, family, and your hobbies? And Nicole responded, me, LOL. Good job, Nicole. Let's see. Yeah, I still have my S2K, Caleb. Let's see.
Managing work, hobbies. I think, well, I've always worked at a hobby, right? I was obviously a video gamer before I got into video games, and that was kind of by accident. I think when you do something all day long, you get a lot of that. If it's something where you can be creative and you can, kind of put your passion into it and solve problems and work around stuff that you're interested in, whether it be cars or games, it makes it so that you don't feel like you need to have a side hustle necessarily, but I mean, the reality, when we talk about cars as a hobby, you have to be really honest with yourself about how much it's going to cost to run your chosen car. This is not a cheap car to fix or to run. But compared to a GT3, that's in a whole different league, So Bobby got himself a Miata.
I did.
Show it out there real quick.
And they're asking about the S2K, but that's going to be the new toys, the Miata.
So, little anecdote about Bobby. I took him out in the aerial Atom on track at AMP, and it was like immediately. He's a drag racing guy, from his background, and immediately Bobby was like, "That's what I want to do. You get so much seat time, and it's true. You can spend not that much money and do a 2-hour stint in a Champ Car amateur endurance racing thing, and you're a race car driver.
The price of just my transmission on my race car was more than that Miata.
Crazy.
Just the transmission, and that I've had a ball in already.
And in drag racing, it's like you're out to intentionally break stuff. You're out to find the limits of what the mechanical stuff can do, and then breaking stuff just like completely goes with the territory.
The cool thing I've noticed about racing, with like seeing what you can do with the car and things, are drag racing is typically who's got the biggest bank account at the end of the day. Most of the time can come out on top.
Right.
When it comes to around a track, you can do a lot with a bank account, but at the end of the day, it takes a lot of skill.
In order to be able to get the most out of a car on the track, it seems to me that most of the folks that you see at track days aren't there yet. And that was one of the things that was so appealing to me the first time that I started doing that. And I'm lucky to have Atlanta Motorsports Park just 20 minutes away from my house. I went out there, I tell the story, a C5 Z06, and I got passed on a straightaway by a Fiat 500. And I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I was just terrified, white knuckling it, afraid of the throttle, just thinking the car was going to spin off into the wall at any moment. But it was addictive, and now I've gotten a chance to improve my skills. And I really like that part of it. So once you get guys who are really in the higher skill levels, who are doing professional level racing, then the car starts to matter a whole heck of a lot. But if you want to beat up on GT3s at a track day, you don't necessarily need much more than a Miata to do it, depending on the driver.
Right. Let's see. And the aftermarket for the Miata is super strong. Yeah, it is. And honestly, compared to the S2000 prices, it's way cheaper. When is Bobby's Atom going to be on the channel? That chassis was a special one. I don't know that it will. Maybe at some point. I don't know. We've got a lot of other stuff that's going to be super cool and unique on the channel. My car's, I've not even hardly touched it in months. But we'll see. Maybe, if
I like that. I haven't even seen it yet.
You know what? I didn't even think about that. You haven't. It's still at my shop in Tennessee. You have to bring it or the S2000 down.
I would love to, the problem is it's intentionally sketchy, right? Like what are the basic stats on your Atom?
Oh yeah. So basic stats on the Atom, it's, it's like 1,450 pounds. It makes over 450 to the tire. We did a draggy, if anybody's into like 60 to 130s, and it's been a 3.77, 60 to 130. So
It's a turbo K series.
Yeah, it's a Honda
motor.
Yeah, Honda K Series turbo 6-speed car. It's a rocket ship, but it's really sketchy. I didn't have the multi-million-dollar R&D Ariel Adam had, or Ariel did.
Yeah, Bobby wanted to meet me in the first place so that he could like tape measure my real Ariel Adam. So he could
I had to
use
steal some specs, man.
I remember you like looking it over and noticing stuff.
Yeah.
Bobby's one of those guys like where don't let him look at your car because he's gonna find something wrong with it for sure.
I don't mean to. It's just my eyes go there instantly. My shop's in the Cleveland area in Tennessee, but let's see.
It's for sale, by the way.
It is for sale. We've not made that public yet, but I guess it's a good way to start.
Sorry, Bobby.
Yeah, no, we have some people very interested in it. I hope they can get it. But we'll see where that goes. But it is on the market. Michael wants to know if we want to do 24 hours of lemons or something like that. Would be really cool. So
I did I think it was scheduled to be 15 hours at Daytona with some buddies in an NB Miata, and we ended up winning our class in Champ Car, which was like the highlight of my racing career. And it was because two of these drivers that were on the team were pro level dudes. Simply amazing. But I've been trying to get like all these guys. I would love, like, one of my dreams for Wolfpen is for us to field a race car that we build in-house, and then it's driven by our staff, and ideally like 2 or 3 race cars, right? But like, it's like this weekend, some guys are on pit duty, some guys are on driving duty, because you can just get so much seat time. And if we can justify it for the YouTube content, then that's the dream.
All right. Eric Romaine, what's up, big man? So when is the big opening? That is a question.
It's a great question, Eric. Hi, Eric. Eric's another guy that I met in real life through YouTube, and just such a stand-up dude. And he let me drive his C7 Z06 on track for a video, which I believe he has since sold because he went down the Miata dark side. Like, once you realize how good it feels to drive something that's under 2,500 pounds, it's hard to go back. That said, I really enjoy driving Goldie on track. But Eric, the short answer is we do not know when we're going to be open for business. We're kind of in the bureaucratic land now of getting stuff done. But we think that it'll be really soon on the garage side, we hope. And then the coffee shop is probably going to take a little bit longer.
Oh, let's see. Local tech enthusiast that is planning to pull. Oh, I got to scroll up. How do I scroll up on this thing? Hey, Mr. IT, how do I scroll up to read a comment? I don't see the toolbar.
I don't know. There you go.
Oh,
2 fingers, swipe down.
gotcha. Let's see.
Bobby is not Mac proficient yet.
No, he finally turned me to the dark side on the iPhone. Yeah, so local tech enthusiast that is planning to pull the shoot on a dealership live. Sounds like you're speaking directly to me.
I love to hear that.
Yeah.
So email info@wolfpen.com.
There you go. info@wolfpen.com.
Correct.
All right. Shoot us an email. Jeff, I can relate to that. One thing I can assure you about drag racing cars and bikes, you learn a lot from breaking stuff. Everything I own is broken. Hey, man, like my S2000 doesn't have a transmission in it. The Atom needs the pedal box fixed. I mean, it's always something.
Well, and what we're seeing too is even with new stuff, once you get into the land of upgrading and modding and like driving on track a lot, let's be honest, driving on track constitutes abuse, basically. And so you really need to be on top of maintenance. And part of, the idea with the coffee shop is we want to have a local place where people really feel comfortable hanging out. I'm going to indulge me in a quick story. I'll do it as fast as I can.
Okay.
A lot of the cool shops you go into, they've got like a Keurig machine sitting there in the reception area. And I have never felt like, oh, I'm going to go make myself a cup of coffee and be excited about that. Also, I've become a coffee snob and I won't drink Keurig willingly anymore. Yeah. But there's this feeling of a reception area at a cool shop where you're like, I don't want to be here any longer than I have to. But a coffee shop, especially a really nice one, and nice doesn't mean fancy. It just means like comfortable seating, good layout, good lighting, nice baristas, good food and drinks and all that stuff. I know exactly how to hang out there, and I feel really comfortable there. And like almost all the business meetings we've had about Wolfpen have taken place in various coffee shops around the Atlanta area. And so I think if we build one next to our really cool shop, then the people who hang out there can walk in and know that if they wanted to, they could probably strike up a conversation with any of the other customers in there. And I've told people like one of the boxes that I want to tick in my life is to have somebody come up to me and say, hey, like this is my friend, and my friend and I met in the coffee shop and now we hang out. And it's like, I've seen that happen so many times in the car world where it's just like-minded people get together and become really good friends. I want to create a place where a community can grow around it. And then we can emphasize things like it is so important with your track car or even your mountain car to do careful, regular maintenance on it, because there are just so many cases where something falls off of a car, something like things rattle loose, things break off. And, I don't want to be Dr. Doom here, but, bad stuff can happen. We are, I heard that there was a driver at Roebling Road that was killed recently in a race. And it's just like, the reality is that it's what we're doing is dangerous. I mean, being in cars is dangerous, period. And so we really want to build a culture around go to the track for your performance driving and make sure you take care of your machinery so that it gets you home safely.
Gabe wants to know when we're going to start this build. He wants to know when the first race car build is going to start.
Well, my question to Gabe is, what does he think, to the mic, Gabe, what do you think the platform should be? I'm thinking E46.
Ooh.
Maybe. Or I forget what, I don't know my Cayman Boxer generations, but like an early generation Cayman or Boxer, I think could be really cool.
They've grown on me a little bit, to be honest. That's like, Mark's the man car, like that. It grew on me so much.
Yeah, the whole Cayman thing, like Mark is like an evangelist for that platform, and I don't think that he's completely wrong, especially now that I've driven that Cayman Club Sport.
Oh yeah.
Whew.
Gabe say he likes the 986/7 idea also.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might. Yeah, no Dodges. Yeah. Oh man, a 0304 Terminator. Those are nice, but that's a little bit rare of a car to make into a race car.
I think it would be fun if we had like a foreign and domestic, as like the two competing, because obviously we're going to be competing within the team as well.
Oh yeah, there's going to be all kinds of rivalry going on. I still love the Miata, man. Like, it's funny. I talked to you before I bought that car.
Yeah.
And I'd never been in one in my life, so I went and bought it.
And now that you've got a hard top on it, it looks like a real sports car.
Yeah, I love it. Jack says C5 Corvette. I know a guy. We need to get that thing to the shop, Jack. M2 comp or an older E46 Miata BRZ. I've never ridden a BRZ. Have you drove a BRZ?
I've never driven one, but there are some folks up at AMP who swear by them. And I know some people, like, they definitely take well to upgrades. I worry about, like, Subaru's got a bit of a reputation for, head gaskets.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes me nervous, you know, but I think they're super cool cars.
We could always K-swap one.
There you go.
Or we'll go K-swap. Hey, a Toyota GR86 is superior, said Jack. Jack said LS everything. I've got enough LS stuff. All I'm gonna say is I know a guy that didn't listen to about his heads, but you know, we'll leave it at that. K24 BRZ, Bobby. Hey, yeah, Gabe, exactly. Gabe's wanting to K-swap something so bad. Every time I talk to him about the Miata, he's always like, K-Series, you know? There's something to be said for him, for sure.
What kind of maniac puts a 315 on the front
Look at this thing.
of a car?
You need to just put them beside each other. It's crazy, the difference.
So let's
rearrange.
we can make this happen. Yep. So this is the factory 275, and this
Look at that.
is the aftermarket 315.
And that's the front.
This is on the front of the car. Most sports cars don't even have a 315 on the rear.
Yeah, I think the GT4 RS has a 295 on it.
Yeah. We're going to do some damage with this thing, Bobby.
Oh, yeah.
Bobby has not been out on track in Goldie, but he's been on the street. What do you think, Bobby?
To be honest, I'm really impressed with the car. You know, I love the feel of it. I was shocked about the gearing, to be honest. That was my biggest shock on the car.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how tall geared this car was. Like, it's set up to go close to 2. Like, it has to be.
Yeah.
And so that was quite shocking. You know, and like somewhere like Atlanta Motorsports Park, this thing would probably pick up a couple tenths with a gear change in the rear.
Yeah, easily.
You know, just because, I mean, half the track you could probably do in first gear in this car. Like, realistically in the corners. Because you said it'll do, what, close to 60? In the corner?
Yeah, close to 60.
So, I mean, what's the, like, outside of the sweeper, any of the tight corners, like turn 1, what do you take that at? Second gear, but like what speed?
40.
Okay.
Probably.
So, I mean, yeah. What manuals do you recommend for the C6, C7? What manuals? Kim Reed. Like manuals to study? Oh, maintenance? I don't really have a good recommendation. We typically use like all data and stuff.
Yeah, so you can speak to the professional side. On the amateur side, CorvetteForum.com has been really useful. It's funny, the last video, I finally learned the correct bleed order for the brakes on this thing, which is not the sequence that you would typically expect. And it just goes to show how useful the internet is. Like, I was pretty confident that I had it right, but some dude just comes in and is like, "You're joking, right? There's no, that's not it. You do it in blah, blah, blah." And thankfully somebody else jumped in and said, "No, you're wrong." But it just goes to show that the internet has the right answer most of the time, but I feel like it's gotten harder and harder to be confident that you're finding the right answer. And that's why, when we get our professional tools online. You know, we're using software to manage the jobs, and then it has integrations for different like shop manual stuff. You're saying which one is the?
So there's a couple. We like All Data. All Data seems to be really good. There's a few more out there. I just know All Data and Mitchell One are the two that I know. I can't speak on the other one. But you're talking about like learning something online or like doing a little research. What about that oil? I never heard about the zinc deal on the oil. Remember?
So
we had a conversation today.
This is interesting, and this is where, you know, one thing that I found is the smart way to go. What time is it?
It's 7:55.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. We're hoping an hour, but it's going to go longer.
Well, if people are still acting like they're
as long as y'all are
we'll
interested,
keep
right?
going. And it's fine to act like you're interested. We don't need you to actually be, because we're having too much fun. You want to find experts who you can trust. And that's why I was so excited to have K-Tech help me with the engine, because now Keenan at K-Tech answers my questions, you know? And so I asked him about oil. I had bought, you know, once we're done with the break-in, I had bought AMSOIL 10W40 based on a recommendation on Corvette Forum, but it's high zinc. And what's interesting about high zinc is that it'll apparently destroy your catalytic converters over time, which I had no idea about. And you'll have to stay tuned for the next video to find out if I was too cheap to buy all new oil to preserve my catalytic converters, or if Bobby and I said, you know what, let's just send it.
Sometimes, you know, has to go that way. Let's see. While we're saying crazy ideas, K-swap a C4 and go run L or GLTC. What is that?
Oh, I don't know what GLTC is. I don't know if that's like a WRL class or something like that. But C4s, I really like the look of them. And I do, yeah. They've grown on me.
Well, it's your age bracket, though.
Shut up. Bobby likes to pretend he's so young. There's a C4 down the road.
Grid Life Touring Cup.
So speaking of Grid Life, one thing that I've been thinking about for Goldie, but unfortunately I didn't build her for a class, would be Time Attack. I think that would be so much fun.
That'd be a blast.
But I think I probably screwed up by not going into it with that plan. So, you know, it is what it is.
We can build a cheap Miata.
Right. And I like the idea of, like, you know, starting with something. Anyway, the C4 down the road, it's a convertible. It just sits and sits and sits. I want it.
All right. So this is a good question. Do you ever plan to do a subscriber meetup or announce a track day? I'm not sure where you're located, but if that is the location, racing location, and
Vengeance.
Vengeance. I was racing location southeast tonight.
Yeah, so that's a great point. So number one, you know, with this coffee shop that's attached to the garage, you know, like if you come by, there's going to be a good chance that Bobby and I are there at any given moment. And it's also the perfect place to do meetup type stuff. And we have Atlanta Motorsports Park nearby. We have Road Atlanta nearby. Barber isn't too far. Roebling Road, Carolina Motorsports Park. There's all this stuff in our area that's like, you know, an hour to a few hours away. And we absolutely love the idea of hosting track events in the future at some point, or at least like just kind of, you know, getting together a group of us and you know, going with the same track day org, because there's so much going on around here. I feel like people who haven't been here don't understand how much driving there is to be done in the Atlanta area. We have amazing roads, like the mountain. But once you're in North Georgia, you start getting in the very foothills of the Appalachian Trail and the, you know, that whole mountain range. Appalachian. Thanks, Bobby. I'm from Pennsylvania. Yeah. We don't have those kind of mountains. We got the.
So, you know, y'all took me up to Wolfpen the first time. I've been Blood Mountain, never seen Wolfpen Gap Road. Yeah. And so going up there, me and my wife went recently on our motorcycles. It was like 95 degrees down here. Yeah. We go up there, it's like 75, breezy, beautiful, and amazing scenery. So it's great driving.
Yeah. But to answer your question, yeah, we absolutely would love to do, meetup type of events, and that's like a big part of our thing is we want physical community. We want people meeting in person and not just over the internet. Although I love meeting people over the
Vintage racing is awesome. So many awesome LS shops in the southeast. Mark Granigan, who's farting? Rome King said if we do a track day, he'd travel with 3 yellow Corvettes.
Ooh,
That is like right up your alley right there.
For
That
sure.
got his attention.
So first of all, I don't think I've ever owned a yellow car before, but I love the C6 in yellow. I love this particular shade of yellow. And it astounds me how many viewers on my channel own a yellow C6. It's like there'll be a guy with a silver C6. He's like, nah, I'm not going to watch that guy. But there's something about the fellow yellow owners, fellow yellows, we like to call each other, that we just get it. We all just get it. You see somebody out there, you don't even have to wave. You just kind of stare at them and you make this connection. It's awesome.
Josh can get awkward at times. But hey, I did notice, Josh did show me something else I was shocked about a C6. The trunk space on this car is unbelievable. You can haul anything you want in there.
It's true.
Here, I'm going to swap so they can watch what you're doing.
So I want to find out about this wheel kind of lift caddy thing,
Oh, yeah.
because I know that I'm going to ding these things up at some point if I'm not careful.
Well, I mean, you had to buy like a 12-inch wide wheel, man.
I know.
Go big or go home.
Do you know how wide they are on the back, bud?
335, right? That's just a monster tire. Because, on that ZR1, was it Daniel?
Yeah.
That tire was such a bear to mount, and I was shocked how big it was. And then I never paid attention to yours were a 335 as well. I was like, crap! Like, that's a lot of meat on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, it had 345s on it when I got on the factory rims.
How did that look?
A little pokey.
Yeah, I was curious. You don't have any rub issues at all, do you?
I do. So
This is a me question.
yeah. Let's see.
Wheels, Josh. Wheels, not rims. Wheels.
Who said
I don't know.
So this
Oh.
is the front brake duct, and at full lock you get a tiny little bit of contact. I'm also running a ridiculous amount of camber, so I imagine it would probably be even worse without, potentially.
Oh, yeah, because you have the full.
But I'm like 3.5 degrees in the front or something like that.
It looks so funny on the stock wheels.
Right.
I thought something was wrong. They look
Right.
like they're 15s because there's so much camber.
They're just like the stock fronts tuck in so far.
I mean, it's like a donut compared to the other ones. It looks so good on those wheels.
Yeah.
Speaking about wheels, there's other things about
There's
wheels.
something happening. So I'll tell a little anecdote. Not Vengeance, what am I saying? Apex
Hot.
Race Parts makes these wheels. And I reached out to them like at the very beginning of the Goldie saga, and I told them this big story about I'm gonna do this and that and all this stuff. Could you guys, kind of hook me up with a discount on the wheels? And to my surprise and elation, they did. And so recently I was thinking about getting street wheels in the stock sizes just because chrome's not really my thing. So my chromies are going to be up for sale soon. And had sort of bad luck looking for used ones in a different color or the original ones. I like the original wheels that came on this. These spider style chrome ones. This is like a 2009 and up option. And so these aren't even original to the car. And I did mean to look and make sure that these are actually speed lines and not.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that. So
they are.
those aren't OE.
So these are
for this-
made in Italy speed lines, but they're, spun cast or whatever. Anyway, so I go back to Apex, right? And I'm like, hey guys, how about that discount? And they said, well, we can do this discount, which is a very modest discount. And I said, it's just that before, had like a really nice discount, and like I'm doing even better. The channel's doing even better. I got a lot of Corvette guys watching, huh? And they said, the guy who gave you that discount before, I don't want to, I don't know if anything they told me is privileged, but like that guy was like giving out discounts that he shouldn't have been, basically. Like, I don't know if he was too nice or what it was. So my ego, which had previously been pretty strong, came down a couple of sizes. But that said, I still have something cool that's going to happen soon on the wheel front, courtesy of Apex Race Parts, just with like a discount that's more fitting of my stature on YouTube, I guess.
I can't wait to see them. I'm excited. I don't know what they are yet either, so I told him to let me wait.
Yeah, we'll do an unboxing, and Bobby you'll get his real reaction.
Mark, I guess Bobby has to go home. Why's that? How'd to move? Let's see, Corvettes are particular. 335, yeah.
It's on.
You all right? It's one. Why don't you turn on your fan?
Because it'll make noise, Bobby.
Is it that loud?
I got my.
Hey, Gabe, just a heads up. The shop is very cool now. Just saying. How many people do we have on the chat?
It's not telling us. Maybe that's like but we got, looks like a few dozen people watching. That's cool.
That's awesome.
How cool is that?
Hopefully we're decently entertaining. 36 currently. Okay. Chelsea and Mark must be talking. She said, "Oh, a dyno would be cool."
Oh, did Mark say the D word?
No, I don't know. I hadn't seen it, but Chelsea definitely chimed in about it. So, dynos are awesome, though. So we what else is going to be done on Goldie?
Well, those brake ducts that are damaged do need to go back on.
Okay.
At least partially.
For any upcoming adventures?
Yeah, because if you look underneath, there's big gaping holes because they feed from below.
Oh, okay.
So
I was wondering, I didn't even see
they're
where
basically
they would go.
part of the kind of under tray, and that's the only stuff that I have.
They took a lot of stuff in the front of this car.
Yeah.
Neighbors better love Goldie. I never asked you about that. How does the HOA feel and neighbors about your cars? Have you had any issues?
I haven't had any complaints yet. Right at the moment, we've got an all V8 lineup, so like the morning startups are nice. But I've still got the factory exhaust on Goldie. She's louder now than she was. So Mark is a huge exhaust guy, right? And I learned this about myself on motorcycles. I already knew I had tinnitus, but like I learned that when you've got tinnitus, loud noises for long periods of time just like make it worse. And so when I ride on motorcycles, I'm always trying to like quiet things down. I want a windscreen. I just want it to be quiet. And I found that if you want to drive a car where you can hear the exhaust and it sounds really cool, that means two things. One, it's like 3 times louder to the people around you, so you're bothering them in a lot of cases. And 2, when you're just cruising to work on the highway, you're like, oh God, shut up, So there's a horsepower argument to be made, obviously. And Bobby's wife already gave me a hard time about it.
Yeah, she even put here needs to be louder. So Rome King said, luckily my HOA made me sign a contract to not start any of my Corvettes up before 6 a.m. or later than 11 p.m. He says, I have Corsa on everything.
Oh, man. Is Rome King the one with the multiple yellow ones?
Yeah.
That's dedication, brother. I love it.
FI exhaust has baffles. I've read bad reviews about FI exhaust.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've got the mild to wild thing, and it's crazy how much it quiets it down. I didn't do the party trick for you, but it really makes it quiet. I almost feel like it's like putting a muzzle on your dog now. Like, I don't want to do that to Goldie. Like, it would be abusive to her to close the baffles.
If it's too loud, you're too old. 55 up community time.
Oh, hey, Arthur. How's it going? If that's the Arthur, I think it is. He's got some really, really cool stuff, and we did a video on one
Excited
of
for
his
your
cars.
shop. I'm sure it will be dog friendly.
Oh, yeah, shop dog. Speaking of dogs, I don't know if Nicole locked them up, but they haven't been out here at all. Also, if it's hot for us, it's hot for them.
Oh, yeah. Is there anything else you're wanting to hit on?
We've covered
Shop
the
related
main
or Goldie
points.
related?
We're just, so I guess one thing to kind of talk about too, like somebody asked about, is there going to be more more Goldie content coming on this channel? And yeah, there will be. But I also have kind of realized, like, this is a channel about my projects, and starting this business is a project, and we want to do behind the scenes stuff that appears on this channel that wouldn't really make sense for that channel, that is kind of focused on some of the trials and tribulations of actually building the business. What's cool about YouTube, if you do it the way that I try to, is you're just presenting yourself and what you're doing, kind of warts and all with your mistakes. And we feel like if we do that with the Wolfpen channel, then we can earn people's trust, because they're going to get to know us, before they come in. And, it's part of why I'm so excited to be working with Bobby, because anybody who has seen Bobby on this channel knows what a true friend he is, and what an amazing helper he is, and what a car guy he is. There have been so many comments saying, I wish I had a friend like Bobby, and I feel that, and so I want, this business is such an important thing to all of us, and Mark and I as the partners in it, it's really important to us that we build a team that. Speaking of the dogs, maybe that means Nicole's watching the stream. I don't know. Josie, come here.
Chelsea said, will you do normal cars for the wives who have boring cars and work on them, as well as high-end cars?
We're definitely willing to work on just about anything. Like, it's not a completely, boutique speed shop. Like, the idea is we're doing general maintenance and repair, but because we, have what we expect to be the best team, we're not charging like a cheap shop rate. Like, bargain is not part of the equation. Now, that said, we're not going to screw people, and we're not going to take advantage of the fact that some of our team knows more about cars and how they work and how they break and how they get fixed than you do. We look at it as fellow enthusiasts, and we're just, back in the old days, like, you had your plumber, you had your electrician, like, you had the handyman, you had the car person, right? Like, the car guy. It could be a girl these days. Back in the day, it was a guy. And that felt great to, like, have your box ticked for where you were going to take your car when something went wrong. Just knowing, like, I'm going to take it to this guy. I'm not even going to question anything. I just feel comfortable, with trust. I think that's fundamentally what we want to be. We want to be the neighborhood place where that we're not going to take advantage of you. It doesn't mean it's going to be cheap. Doesn't mean that you're always going to like what we have to say, but we're going to treat you respectfully and as fellow enthusiasts. And I think that there's just, like, we've already been experiencing just through the friends whose cars we've been messing with for videos and stuff. Like, Chuck, I don't know if he's still on the stream, but, like, I was chatting with him on the phone. Like I said, I love how YouTube, which I thought was just going to be about cars, me working on cars, driving cars, became so much more about the friends that I'm making. And I'm making friends already through Wolfpen. And I think that's important. Like that's ultimately, I see the cars as the thing that brings us together. But what matters is the connections that you make with other people.
Kim's asking, what is the new channel? She missed that part.
So it is hard to find right at the moment, but it's at Wolfpen Media. And let me just paste it in the chat, and I think I can maybe pin it.
Yeah, the Ariel Atom got sold. Oh yeah, Nicole just said that. Yeah,
Pin it.
Yeah, that thing's been gone for over a year and a half.
Yeah, it's been a good long while. I sold the Atom to buy the C6, and a big part of that was I didn't feel compelled to upgrade the Atom. I was also a little bit worried about like the fundamental safety of the design. I had a conversation with Dennis Palatov, who I followed his blog like probably 20 years ago at this point. He's out in Oregon and builds these really cool like track focused cars, and he's getting like more into electric stuff these days. Anyway, he said some stuff that made me kind of think about how I felt about going 10/10 on the track and that thing. The sad story is, I sold it to my friend who I met up at AMP. He sold it along after he was done with it. And the next guy who got it, my understanding is a week into ownership, he was at Tail of the Dragon and he totaled it. But then I got contacted by the new owner, somebody who bought it, like from a salvage auction, I guess, and I think has it in Poland. Is that what I told you?
Yeah, something like that.
I think he's in Poland with it, and he's had a dream of having an Atom. So that thing is going to live on with another enthusiast. But it was just like, when you hear about something bad happening to a car that you really loved, it hurts your feelings. But I get the impression that it's going to be.
So Weatherford, Texas is checking in. And so Rome King said, I lost my warranty on my C8 after headers, exhaust, and tuning. So I'm going to send her your way.
Ooh. Yeah.
C8 in there yet.
Man. Dealers, dealers.
Yeah.
Like it's a sweatshop for those techs, like they're chewing them up and spitting them out.
They make them eat that warranty time. Like,
yeah, I've learned a lot about how the industry works. And, it's, you think of any of these essential jobs, right? Like you think about EMTs, you think about, police, right? You think about teachers. Mark's texting us, and apparently my notifications are still on. These people are doing such critical work. Like the guys who are working on your car are touching the stuff that keeps you alive, right? In a lot of different circumstances. And the industry generally treats them like this expendable commodity. Like Gabe had gotten out of being a tech in part because he got burnt out from the way that it's done. And we just think that there's got to be a way where if you just like dial back the Josie, what? If you just like dial the greed down 3 or 4 notches, just to reasonable levels of we would like to turn a profit so we can stay in business, then you don't have to abuse these people, and take advantage of them. And we think that that's gonna translate into the experience that people have as customers, and the experience that the employees have.
So Jeff said, what modifications you want on your new car, Nicole? Nicole responded, I think we're tuning to 700 horsepower.
Okay. Nicole is.
I mean, we can, Nicole. I mean,
so
just turn up the boost a couple PSI.
We've got a BMW X7 M50i for Nicole.
It's a beautiful car.
It's beautiful. It makes 525 horsepower because Nicole can't step down. She had 495 with the Durango SRT, 6.4 liter naturally aspirated Hemi. Now she's got a 4.4 liter twin turbo V8 making like 523, I think. And apparently that's not enough because the neighbors who have a newer one mentioned that you can put a tune on them and get them up to crazy numbers.
I didn't know that.
Let's chill.
I mean, let's
chill.
just void the warranty real quick. Click, click, done.
So, but it is an amazing vehicle. And
pesky neighbors.
I'm thinking about like what happens when Nicole has a vehicle with more horsepower than mine.
You know what? From a dig, I think she's got you.
Probably. Yeah.
Like to 100, it's gonna be hard to come around that thing to 100. We should do that.
We'll see. We'll see.
Atta girl, yeah. How many you got done, by the way?
I've got them all on. They're
Okay.
not torqued. I've gotten too excited about this. I mean, realistically, we're gonna have to stop in like 10 minutes or so because
I mean, it's
the stream is
8:20.
too much fun.
Yeah, this is good. What do y'all feel if we did this more often? Just curious. So we letting out where the shop is or no?
Not yet.
Okay, we'll let y'all know in time. Sorry, Jack. Oh well, that's cool. That's the area. Let's see. One right. Let's just. Yeah.
So Chevy voided the warranty on a C8 for intake, exhaust, and what?
The tune. I'm assuming the tune is that. I mean, is that the main thing that got your warranty voided? Was it Rome that had that? Rome King, I think.
Uh-oh, Bobby.
Oh, so the new project is our shop. Whoever just came in, we've got a. What's going on, buddy? Don't tell me.
Well,
Oh, I just
it's
seen
not
something.
that bad.
It
But
looked.
we're slinging grease still.
Are we really?
Yeah. See, because I cleaned this one out.
You did.
So,
I wonder if
but
we
you
should-
said that you. So let's show our dear viewers.
we're just going.
Putting.
Follow.
Yeah, if you
What?
don't.
I mean, I'm-
No, we're good. We're good. So we've got grease
hold on.
spattered inside this wheel. Thank you. Which I had previously carefully cleaned. So now Bobby had told me when his, so this is from the rear CV half shaft boot, right? When you were slinging grease, you just zip tied it?
Yeah. If I couldn't get the clamp tight enough, I put a zip tie on it, and I've never had a problem, like ever.
I like it.
And I mean, the Adam's been on the track in the 160 range or in Mexico, but yeah, no problems.
Interesting. Okay, well, that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, the quick jack is hydraulic. It does come with its own pump. It's a 110 as well, right? Your quick jack.
Correct.
Yeah. Chelsea said if zip ties don't fix it, it's broke. Yeah, zip ties and duct tape, right? Oh, Bobby. Another Bobby on here. Good to meet you, Bobby. Gotta stick together.
Hello, bodies.
Mm-hmm. Now, isn't there something going on at Road Atlanta this weekend we were told about today?
Yeah. We were told that there is an event at Road Atlanta. But we will, well, I don't think I'm going to be there.
Oh, man. Hey, so I don't know if 05 American knows about this. So Josh has this, I would say, fear about getting crushed. Am I right?
Well, we should all have a fear of being crushed.
Under the car.
I wouldn't
Anyway.
say it's a phobia.
Well, I said fear. I didn't say phobia.
Yeah.
But his quick jack leaked on him the other day, and it about took him out. Double check those fittings.
Well, here's the thing. If you're down on the stops,
Right. Yeah, the
The-
lock's
the-
a lock, right?
so I'm like, how are you in a situation where like the hydraulics failed and it came down on you? It shouldn't be able to do that with the stops.
Well,
That's-
they're probably impatient like me. It's like on the way up or down,
Yeah,
I'm under it,
yeah.
or I never put it on the
Dude.
locks.
Today I was under a professional 2-post lift, and I'm just like eyeing my escape route. I think obviously over time you get used to it, but I'm sitting there, I'm literally saying, okay, if I hear a loud noise, I'm rolling that way, as fast as I can.
I mean, if you're not used to them, the first few times you put something on a lift, it can be sketchy.
Yeah.
You know, you get under it and you kind of forget that it's in the air and you start shaking on something.
Right.
It can get a little unnerving.
Well, and think about the amount of kinetic energy contained in a 3, 4, 5,000 pound car traveling at 60, 70, 80 miles an hour. Like, all this stuff is the most dangerous stuff we do, but we're desensitized to it, so we do it anyway.
I like this Rome King guy. He goes, if my old lady finds me under one of my cars, she knows I went happy. I like this guy. Josh has ramps as well. Somebody said go buy some good ramps. You do have ramps. Actually, I think last time I seen the Durango, you were putting on ramps to change the oil.
Yeah, correct. So do you put it right on top of the band?
Let me see what you're talking
Or
about.
on the inside? On the outside. Can you see? Would you go? Would you go like inside, outside, or right on
Well,
top?
my band was missing.
Oh, I see.
So did you repack these?
Repack them. I packed them when I
That's what I mean. So you pack these when the boot came loose or something? So if you overpack them,
yeah.
it could just be slinging out the excess. Remember we seen that on GT4?
Yeah.
And that still might be what it's
that'll
doing.
just stop eventually.
Yeah, because it'll heat up and, well, everything stops eventually, even bleeding, right?
Yeah.
Let's just keep a good eye on
Just
it.
send it.
Yeah. Well, I'm always about just send it.
I just don't like getting grease all over my nice stuff.
And it doesn't like it grows.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where's the lift? Not following on that question.
So,
Watching
talking
from
about
St. Louis with my 2 young boys. Thanks for the entertainment. Hey, thanks for watching.
Yeah, right on, guys. So we could interpret the where's the lift thing a couple of different ways. So the hydraulic unit for the quick jack is plugged into the wall. It's on the floor over there. The lifts that I was talking about, the 2-poster, is at our shop, which is about 40 minutes from here. That's a professional garage that, when all you've got is a quick jack and you don't feel like you've got room in your home garage for a 2-post lift, you install 12 2-post lifts in a professional garage and start a business in an industry you have no experience in. That's the typical go-to.
Yeah.
It seemed like a good idea at the time.
St. Louis. Hey, I bought my Porsche from up near St. Louis.
Nice. Yeah, Bobby's a Porsche guy.
Yeah. Barely. It's a old Cayenne Turbo S. It's fun. Nicole will gap mine, I think, but it'd still be fun to grab a lane with it. So. My C6Z is the most annoying car to get in the air, even with quick jacks. It's such a process. I rewatched Josh's hub video because that's a job I need to do.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I don't envy that. I would not want to do it again anytime soon.
Kim's from STL as well, huh? Okay. Hey, so Rome King said, when you do the grand opening at the shop, let him know. He'll bring some boys from Vengeance Racing with him to show the vet family some love. Hopefully we don't have any noise ordinance. I don't know that we do. I mean, I'm sure there probably one, but I don't know.
Not that we know of. We haven't had any complaints just yet.
So I'm curious where everybody's from. So I've seen Florida, I've seen Texas, St. Louis, Hickson, Tennessee. See how far you're. All right, Columbia, South Carolina. Okay.
Nice.
Cumming, GA.
Neighbors.
Yeah, Swanee.
Swanee's close. Bobby doesn't know his Metro Atlanta
No, I'm
geography very well yet.
San Francisco, California.
Nice.
Scott James. Wow,
What up, Scott?
that's a lick. College Grove, Tennessee.
Is that the Scott who sent me the plug wires?
Is that Scott that sent the plug wires? Josh is asking. I got somebody from Chandler, Arizona. Basically, somebody from Austin, Texas area. Oh, that was Nicole's dad that commented. So,
is Jeff watching?
yeah, Jeff's been watching. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
By the way,
So that's why I've been saying Jeff.
we to get our alignment rack installed, we've got a really nice alignment rack. It's in ground, and a guy was by, and he was like, "Hey, who did that concrete work? Because I always need people who really know how to do concrete work for small jobs and stuff." This was a contractor, and I thought about mentioning your name. I was like, "Nah, Jeff's retired." But if you don't know, Jeff, my father-in-law, who was featured in the video where we got the blown motor out of Goldie, was a Chicago local. I don't remember his local union, but concrete mason for his whole career. And the dude knows concrete, and he knows his way around a motor.
Oh yeah, he helped you pull it. I remember that.
Right.
Yeah.
Give me a lot of good advice.
I think he's going to be assisting soon. Right?
Yeah, we've got a little project for him at the shop.
Hope the plug wires and catch can worked out for you.
So, Scott, here's the thing about the catch can. It may seem, based on the content that I put up, that I'm like a hardworking, industrious, go-getter type of guy, but in a lot of ways, I'm lazy. And we were so focused, like at a certain point, while I'm in there stuff, we were just like, we got to just get it started. So I don't have the catch can installed, but I do feel like it's important to do it. And because you were nice enough to send it, we want to use it. You'll find out about the plug wires later. That becomes a whole story. But and the moral of the story is it's great that somebody sent me those because they came in super handy. Catch can we're gonna have to get to, but I think we're developing a bit of a relationship with Howard at Vengeance Racing, who was previously is it Redline Power Sports in Pompano Beach? I think I might be getting the name of it wrong. Howard has watched some of the videos, and he's like an LS wizard, and he's teamed up with Ron at Vengeance Racing, and he has expressed some interest in the build and stuff. So my hope is that if we do something like install a catch can, which kind of changes the PCV routing and whatnot, and we need an update to the tune, that they won't put me over the barrel for that, we hope. But thank you so much. Like, Scott's the first viewer, I think, to ever physically send me anything, and it is part of Goldie, the stuff that he sent.
Oh, that's awesome. They're asking how old we are. Josh is old. Just saying.
Well, I'm a day older than Jack, the cameraman, which puts me approaching 45, I think. And Bobby,
Let's see if you remember.
37?
I am 37.
Yeah.
Approaching 38.
Mark,
Daddy Mark.
55, we'll say. Perpetually 55 to 57. Nicole, 26, my wife. So when I met her, no.
That's a whole nother story there, buddy. We're the same age. We'll be 45 in August.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome. Who will be the shop's best welder? Well,
Bobby at this point.
yeah.
Bobby is currently our best tire guy, although he taught me how to use the tire machine. We got like the Hunter Walkaway tire machine. There's an icon that's on the machine of a guy like turning and walking away from the tire machine to illustrate how it's like completely hands off. No, you can't walk away. Like you got to be right there with it, but it does almost everything for you. It's really cool.
It's a great machine.
So there's this fun aspect as we're just getting started. Bobby and I are like figuring out, like, eventually our roles will be different, but right now our roles are whatever it takes to get stuff done. And so it's been fun to learn stuff, but I don't know that either of us is like particularly excited to be the tire guy. I'll say this about Bobby, and we'll see this in a video coming up. We have now dealt with what we understand to be like the world's hardest tires, at least in the consumer world. And it's because of this ridiculous run flat stiffness combined with ultra low profile on an ultra wide tire. Bobby can do them like guaranteed now. So there's some places in the Atlanta area, won't name names, but they're sort of known to be the tire and alignment guys. We're going to give them a run for their money.
That's right. Yeah, Rome. Yeah, the vet tires are a MFer. You are not kidding.
Yeah.
Let's see. What kind of fabrication y'all planning on doing? Right now, I don't know that we're doing any fabrication.
Yeah, so I think like whereas like we've talked about Vengeance, they're a speed shop, right? They're doing these huge, ridiculous builds. We're much more in the maintenance, repair, and some upgrades realm, with kind of a focus on sports cars. We've seen a lot of 911s, GT3s, Caymans, GT4s.
Ours are more track focused cars.
Yeah, they kind of
Less
like
track
not
focused.
race cars, not a lot of fab work. I think eventually we'll probably be at that point where we do some here and there, and maybe in the future we'll want to expand. But when we really thought about it, we're already doing kind of two businesses under the same roof, which is challenging enough. But general maintenance and repair is really a completely different business model than a speed shop. And so we'll leave the speed shop into the speed shops.
Somebody's offering to let us drive their K-Swap Miata when you want
Ooh.
to. You know who that is?
Oh, that's Arthur. Yeah. I think I saw that on your Facebook. Yeah, dude, hit me up so Arthur is one of those guys. There's different kinds of guys out there. Some guys, it's like they won't let anybody drive their car.
Hey.
Right? Doesn't want people touch them. And then other guys are like barely know you. They'll throw you the keys. Arthur's one of those kind of guys, which is super cool.
What K's in it? Is it the 20, 24? Is it the Z7? I think it is with the headers all in one, or what? I've been looking into them. I have this bad problem about going wide open on everything I touch. And for once, I want to try to keep the Miata as close to streetable as possible. AC is a must. Tired of not having stuff without AC. Oh, it's a K24 Z3. Nice. Are you behind? You got the Miata transmission behind it still? Gabe said he likes this guy.
Yeah.
Gabe's chomping at the bit.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Arthur will be a friend of the shop. I mean, he's got, I don't know what he's got right now, but he's had super cool BMWs, super cool Porsches, super cool Japanese stuff. He had the spoon built S2000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which was like a revelation. I was so surprised. It looked like a show car that you would expect, like you drive it to car shows, import car shows, and you win awards with it. Arthur let me take it out on the track and turn some laps in it. And it had just been sort of like dialed in on the street, like by him and his buddies, from what I understand. And it was like fantastic on the track right out of the gate. It was really cool. Scotty is the scuffed version of Arthur.
I used to own a V10 M6 back in the day until I blew the trans. And wow, 32 grand for a transmission? You know what? Those V10 M6. Have you ever drove one?
No, I have not.
They're fun cars.
I know they sound good.
They're fun cars.
Yeah, we love scuffed cars too. Like Bobby's Miata is a 20-foot Miata right now.
Hey,
just saying. Goldie is a 10-foot C6 Z06. What we care about is, what loving cars for what we think are the right reasons, which is like appreciating them, enjoying them.
Well, we've learned from somebody recently, like, to have cars on both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And they would love the one that you don't realize. It's shocking and exciting,
Yeah. We don't want to spoil a coming video, but there's
I'm not driving Goldie yet now. Sorry.
Yeah, but so Goldie, right now the track buckets are completely fixed. Just what? a little bit of just my
Almost
legs
a
are
foot.
longer than Bobby's, so he wouldn't fit. But I do intend to throw Bobby the keys once we get the. We're gonna convert Goldie back to street mode at some point, and
Suspension tuning. Yeah, we're looking to do suspension tuning at the shop for sure.
yeah, that is sweat. I am completely soaked.
It's the humidity's horrible.
Yeah, it's bad. Man, I'm having. I mean,
It's too much fun.
give Bobby and I an excuse to talk, and we will talk until we die. Like that's the kind of people we are.
I told my wife I'd be home now. That's
Yeah,
great,
Bobby
man.
needs to go home to his wife and darling child. So I think we need to wrap this up. But man, what a pleasant experience this has been hanging out with you guys. If you haven't already, the link to the Wolfpen YouTube channel is up at the top, and if you wouldn't mind subscribing, that would be cool. But just check out the trailer because Jack put a ton of effort into it. We all did, but Jack worked his editing magic, and it gives you an idea of the production quality that we're going to see from that channel. But we're also really committed to telling authentic stories that are relatable. And I think that's what people like about Goldie is it's about, like a relatable person who doesn't really know what they're doing, learning to do stuff with a car and enjoying it, and showing the ups and downs of it. And I think that the Wolfpen channel is going to share a lot of that DNA.
Yeah, we remember they need to watch to the end to see what happens. What's going on?
Yeah, Jeff was driving behind a McLaren. I think that from what I know about McLarens, a lot of McLarens that are on the road, no matter how old they are under warranty because you can re-up your warranty with them. I think it's every 2 years. It's a massive amount of money. It seems like people do that, and it seems like for good reason. So I don't know how often we're going to get a chance to mess with McLarens, but yeah, we'll probably see some high-end stuff. My hope is those people will at least come in for a cup of coffee, even if they don't want us touching their under warranty baby.
Because regardless, it's going to be a great place to hang out and meet people.
Yeah.
So. Jeff get to drive a Ferrari?
Jack says that the trailer is AI generated, so he's just good at typing in prompts. By the way, I just listened to a book called crap, I don't remember, but it was written by AI. It's a book of poetry written by AI, and I listened to it on Audible. It was narrated by Werner Herzog, and it got real dark. It made you think that the AI might be a person in there and really wants to come out and maybe kill us all. I don't know. So anyway, highly recommended. Let me look
You
it up.
recommend that
Oh,
book?
totally. I Am Code, I believe it's called.
Will the coffee shop have a tuna sandwich, no crust?
Man, I'm a big fan of tuna sandwiches.
God.
We're probably going to be focused on scratch-made pastries, breakfast sandwich, breakfast burrito. So kind of homemade breakfast items and pastries, all courtesy of my ultra talented wife, Nicole, and real primo high-end, espresso and coffee drinks.
And I mean, since you're a pro now.
Yeah, I know how to pull shots of espresso. I know how to do the world's worst latte art. I'm probably not going to be making your coffee. I'm probably not going to be working on your car directly. But if they need me, if people are in the weeds and they can use, a middle-aged guy who doesn't really know what he's doing and they feel like that would be helpful, I will jump in.
Sweets to dull the pain of my car being broken. Perfect. I like that.
Hell yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you guys so much on behalf of me and Dr. Bobby and the whole Wolfpen crew, which at this moment includes Mark, Jack, Gabe, Nicole. Anybody else officially yet? That's the official one.
With more in the works, I want to say thank you for coming and hanging out in the garage. And if you like this format, maybe not going hour 45, but it's a way for this channel to potentially live on to do live streams with Bobby here in the garage. So hopefully we'll see you soon. And I think that's it.
Have a good night.
Yeah. Thanks for coming along for the ride. End stream. Click.